Nature and Principles of Development. Hello everyone, I am Dr. April M. Bagon Faeldan from the College of Teacher Education of Mindoro State University, Victoria Oriental Mindoro, Philippines. And welcome to my online class. For today's presentation, I am going to discuss the following. First, important terms in the study of development. Next, the processes in development. The third, the lifespan perspectives. And the last, the basic issues in human development. Are you ready? Let us start. Important terms in the study of development. There are important terms we need to recognize when we try to understand how children develop. Growth refers to physical changes that occur from conception to maturity. Examples of growth include measuring a newborn's head circumference when being brought to the doctor, or the increase in height among children when they reach middle childhood through adolescence. Related to growth is aging. In a biological sense, is the deterioration of organisms, including human beings, that leads inevitably to death. Development does involve growth in early life, stability in early adulthood, and the declines associated with aging in later life. Our cells age as we grow old, despite that our bodies produce new cells. The difference lies in the rate of growth. Another important development concepts include maturation, which is the biological unfolding of an individual according to a plan contained in the genes. The genes are the hereditary characteristics passed from parents to child at conception. We inherit traits from our parents ranging from physical attributes such as the color of our eyes, hair, and other covered qualities such as our talents, intelligence, and temperament. What we inherit from our parents has its own time of manifestation. From maturation, another important concept is learning, which is the process through which experience bring about relatively permanent changes in thoughts, feelings, or behavior. Imagine the time you learned how to play your favorite musical instrument or rode a bike. The experience you had proved to be learning experiences. Lastly, an integral concept to development is environment, which refers to all the external physical and social conditions and events that can affect us, from crowded living quarters to stimulating social interactions. Our students' environment affect the way they learn, and the environment in which we study and prepare for our lessons as teachers affect what we will actually teach our students. The processes in development. The pattern of child development is complex because it is the product of several processes: biological, cognitive, and socio-emotional. Development can also be described in terms of periods. Biological processes involve changes in the child's body. Genetic inheritance plays a large part. Biological processes underlie the development of the brain, gains in height, changes in motor skills, and puberty's hormonal changes. Cognitive processes, on the other hand, involve the child's thinking, intelligence, and language. Cognitive developmental processes enable a child to memorize a poem, imagine how to solve a math problem, come up with a creative strategy, or speak meaningfully connected sentences. Lastly, socio-emotional processes involve changes in the child's relationships with other people, changes in emotion, and changes in personality. Parents' nurturance toward a child, a boy's aggressive attack on a peer, a girl's development of assertiveness, and an adolescent's feelings of joy after getting good grades, all reflect socio-emotional processes in development. The lifespan perspectives. There are a number of perspectives surrounding the understanding of development. What we are going to discuss are the 7 assumptions of the breadth and depth of development as discussed by Paul Baltes. Development is a lifelong process. We do not stop growing once we reach adulthood. We continue developing new understandings of our environment and the world around us. Our relationships may flourish while maintaining few friends. Development is multidirectional. Development in one area is simultaneous with other areas. While children are learning to walk, their socialization skills is also enhanced. Development always involves both gain and loss. Development at every age involves both growth and decline. For example, gaining a capacity for logical thought as a school-age child may mean losing some capacity for fanciful and imaginative thinking of a preschooler. Development is characterized by lifelong plasticity. Plasticity refers to the capacity to change in response to positive or negative experiences. Development is shaped by its historical, cultural context. A person's development is affected by the culture and the history of the society he or she grew up in. An example of this is the observed in the types of career students in a particular community pursue. Development is multiply influenced. Human development is the product of ongoing interactions between a changing person and his or her changing world. Understanding development requires multiple disciplines. Human development is best understood by having knowledge of psychological perspectives, biological underpinning, and sociological context. Being able to merge what you have learned in all your pedagogical courses will help you in formulating better instructional materials and design lesson plans that will address the holistic development of your learners. Basic issues in human development. There are basic issues in understanding development. Assumption about human nature. Original sin. Thomas Hobbes portrayed children as inherently selfish and bad, believing that it was society's task to control their selfish and aggressive impulses and to teach them to behave in positive ways. Inherently good. Jean-Jacques Rousseau argued that children were innately good and that they were born an intuitive understanding of right and wrong, and that they would develop in positive directions as long as society did not interfere with their natural tendencies. Tabula rasa. John Locke maintained that an infant is a tabula rasa, or a blank slate waiting to be written on his or her own experiences. Locke believed that children were neither innately good nor bad. They could develop in a number of directions depending on their own experiences. Nature and nurture. Nature refers to the behavior and characteristics manifested because of the influence of biological forces. Biological forces like heredity and biologically based dispositions. Nurture refers to the influences brought about by the exposure to the environment. This includes learning experiences, child rearing methods, societal changes, and culture. Activity and passivity. Some theorists believe that children are curious, active creatures who, in a very real sense, orchestrate their own development by exploring the world around them or by shaping their own environment. Other theories view humans as passive beings who are largely products of forces beyond their control, usually environmental influence, but possibly strong biological forces. Continuity and discontinuity. Discontinuity theories picture the course of development as more like a series of stair steps, each of which elevates the individual to a new and presumably more advanced level of functioning. While continuity theories view human development as a process that occurs in small steps without sudden changes. Quantitative changes are changes in degree and indicate continuity. A person becomes taller, knows more vocabulary words, or interacts with friends more or less frequently. Qualitative changes are changes in kind and suggest discontinuity. Changes that make the individual fundamentally different in some way than he or she was before. Example, a nonverbal infant into a speaking toddler, or a pre-pubertal child into a sexually mature adolescent. Universality and context, specificity. The extent to which developmental changes are common to everyone, meaning universal, or different from person to person, meaning context specific. So this is our reference book. Thank you and ganbate kudasai!